So what I'd like to show you guys about the rotations is not only the rule for each rotation, so we're going to look at 90, 180, and 270 degrees, but a way to do it without the rule, because sometimes the rules could be a little bit tricky. For the case of the rotation of 90 degrees, you have your two coordinates x comma y, and if we rotate it 90 degrees, we switch the two coordinates and you negate the new x value. So what I'd like to take a look at again is a little trick in doing this. So if you actually take your graph and you rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, right? Now you turn your graph on the side. What we're going to do is we're actually going to take the original coordinates they gave us and we're going to replot them on the new look of the graph. So I'm actually going to plot my point 2 comma 1 as my a prime, and I'm going to plot my point 6 comma 4 as my b prime. Now from this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my graph, I'm going to rotate it back, and then I'll be able to label my points and I'll be able to label my values. So I have my a prime and I have my b prime. Now the next thing you guys need to do is we just need to actually state what the coordinates are. So after a rotation of 90 degrees, a prime becomes, if we take a look at our point here, negative 1 comma 2. So negative 1 comma 2. And our b prime becomes negative 4 comma 6. Now if you guys need to rewind, take a look at this video as much as you need. Now let's take a quick look at the rotation of. Now when we're working with the rotation of 180 degrees, it's the same thing. It has a rule. This rule may also look a little bit similar. You have your x comma y, and then you just negate both the x and the y values. But again, rotations, if you don't want to have to memorize the rule, you're going to take your graph, you're going to rotate it 180 degrees clockwise. Now once you rotate it that, you now have your axes just like it would be. You're going to look at it as a new set of axes. We're going to plot our coordinates. So a would be at 2 comma 1. Now remember my graph actually says negative 2 here, but it's a new xy axis. It's actually now positive 2 comma 1. And then now my value at 6 comma 4. Now once I rotate this back, I'll relabel. So now I have my a prime and my b prime. And just like before, all I have to do is label my new values. So a prime is going to be at negative 2 comma negative 1, and b prime is going to be at negative 6 comma negative 4. Now finally, the rotation of 270 degrees looks like this. We're going to take the same thing. You have your rule, but we could also just take our coordinates. We could rotate it clockwise 270 degrees. And we're going to replot the points just like we have before. So we plot the point 2 comma 1. We plot the point 6 comma 4. We rotate back and just label your a prime, your b prime, and state what the coordinates are. So a prime in this case became the coordinate 1 comma negative 2, and b prime is at the coordinate 4 comma negative 6. Right, and that's how you're going to take a look at your 3 different rotations of 90, 180, and 270 if you don't want to use one of the rules.